Hi guys, how are you? This is Loise. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and safe wherever you are, and happy Valentine's Day. Now guys, today I want us to continue our discussion and talk about the best courses to study in Canada in 2025 and 2026, and not just the best courses, like the best provinces, because you all know that with the recent immigration changes, everything as we knew it changed. So it's time to go back and reevaluate your options and re-strategize if studying in Canada is still one of your goals. And it should still be one of your goals because these restrictions are everywhere, not just in Canada. They are in the US, Australia, UK. There's no good place right now that we can say, oh, this is the easiest place to go. So there are challenges all around, and I still believe that Canada is one of the best top destinations for international students. Now, my friends, have you subscribed? If you have subscribed, thank you so much. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, and share this video. So you want to invite your relatives, your friends, your loved ones who are still planning to come to Canada, because this is a good time to start planning about next year, okay? Studies next year, because a lot of things are screwed up for this year's studies in Canada. I'm not saying that you can't, but as you all know, right now we are in limbo waiting for the provincial attestations. So a lot of people can't apply for study permits as at this time unless you are coming here to do a master's or a PhD. Otherwise, everybody else who is doing an undergraduate program is in limbo. We're all waiting. Even provinces, they are saying that they still haven't figured out how to give out those provincial attestations. Anyway, that is not the goal of this video. The goal of this video, let's talk about the courses, because I tell people that when you're coming to study in Canada, you should always ask yourself, what is the end goal? Okay? And if permanent residence is your end goal, then you need to think critically about the course that you're taking. So the courses that you want to take up, okay, you need to consider two things: permanent residence transition from student to PR. The other thing that you also want to consider is employability, because you really want to come and do a course that you will immediately get a job upon graduation, so that you gain that relevant work experience that you can use for your application for express entry or whatever other program that you may be applying for, including a provincial nomination. Okay, so which are these courses? You want to come study healthcare, and these ones are federal. So these are federal. It doesn't matter which province. These are universal across all provinces. Any course in healthcare, my friend, take it. Okay? Any course in science and technology, take it. Any course in engineering, my friend, take that. Agricultural courses, they are very good right now for PR, but I have a caveat there. As much as they are good for PR, they are not the most employable courses, and even if you get a job, jobs in agriculture are not the highest paying, unfortunately, in this country. Not saying they don't pay well, but majority of the jobs in agriculture, they don't really pay well. Okay, the other courses that you want to study are transportation courses, and last but not least, you may want to start thinking about coming here to do trades, whether it's mechanics, whatever. Please consider coming to do your trades here in Canada. Okay, so those are the federal courses across the board. Okay, the other courses that you really want to study in Canada, it depends on the province where you're coming. It's high time you do some research on the occupations in demand in various provinces, especially now that selecting a province is going to be very, very, very important. So you want to know, if I go to the province of Saskatchewan with this kind of a course, will I even be able to qualify for their PR? Because some of these provinces have some restricted or occupations. So you find that when you're looking at the province of Saskatchewan, they have whatever they call occupations in demand. If your occupation is not in the occupations in demand, you need to understand what are my chances of becoming a permanent resident in that province. So it's also very, very important to check the occupations in demand, because every province has different occupations in demand depending on their labor needs. So start checking the patterns, because patterns are the ones that are the best indicators. Of course, the courses that I talked about there for federal occupations, those ones are going to be applicable in any province. However, there are some provinces that are looking for construction workers. Others don't want others don't want some certain occupation. So it's, I know some others that are looking for finance workers, provinces like Nova Scotia. So it's important that you know exactly what is in demand in the province of your destination. Okay, now so I hope that kind of gives you a guide. And if you want us to sit down one-on-one, I do hold one-on-one consultations. I'll be happy to meet with you. Let's sit down, evaluate your profile, and we design a workable strategy for you, just so that you are not coming here and then you realize too late that, oh my goodness, I came to study the wrong program, whether it's for PR or whether it's for employability. Okay, my friend? All right, so feel free, book a consultation on our website, www.mileleimmigrationservices.ca, and I will be happy. Just go there and select study consultation. The best money you'll ever invest. Okay, so now the other very important thing right now that you need to think critically is, which province do I come to study? Because provinces are never going to be the same for a long time going forward when it comes to international students. And why am I saying that? The minister introduced what? The caps, right? And what was the goal of introducing caps? The goal is to make sure that some provinces do not get overwhelmed by the number of students and therefore overwhelm the resources available, like housing, like jobs. Excuse me. So you realize that the topmost provinces that have the most international students are British Columbia and Ontario. Those two provinces also happen to have the most schools. Okay, so they tend to attract majority of the international students in Canada, like the bulk of international students in Canada. So with those caps, the minister is trying to reduce the number of students who will go to those provinces. And the top provinces, as I said, BC, Ontario, and Nova Scotia is number 3, heading there. Okay, so it's high time right now that you start considering other provinces. Okay, I know other provinces were not the most popular for international students, but now they will be top choices, and they better become your top choices. Okay, you find that other maritime provinces are also going to follow suit. And the reason I'm saying that is because they are not the biggest provinces, right? They also don't have a lot of institutions, which means that a slight increase in demand is also going to overwhelm them. And also you find that their economies are not so big, so they don't have the most jobs out there. Okay, however, some of those provinces have the best immigration programs, so there's a dilemma there. Okay, now what does that mean for you as an international student? Which province do you want to choose first? Number one that you want to start considering, my home province, Alberta. Okay, so start thinking of coming to study in Alberta. Alberta is not just Calgary. Look at all these surrounding cities, whether it's Red Deer, whether it's Medicine Hat, Edmonton, Fort McMurray, because we have colleges like Keano. So look at Alberta and look at the schools available. Please, you want to start considering Alberta. Okay. Excuse me. And then the other one you want to consider is Saskatchewan. You want to consider Manitoba. Those two provinces, especially Manitoba and Saskatchewan, they have some of the best immigration programs. However, please, especially for Saskatchewan, be careful about the course selection. And then, of course, Quebec, for people who speak French, Quebec is a good one. Then after those 4 provinces, now you may want to consider other provinces like Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI. Last but not least is the 2 famous Ontario and British Columbia. Those ones should be like your last choices, simply because with that you're going to see reduced study permits. Yes, you're going to see reduced study permits for approvals for those provinces. Therefore, if you're targeting these provinces that are not affected, then you have high chances of study permit approvals. Okay, and then of course, before I end this video, it's also important, and I know I'm not the biggest advocate for the territories for my own reasons, but it's also important now. If you find good schools in the territories, you may want to focus there, but of course, maybe there's only going to be like one university or one college, so the demand, that is not where you should put all your focus. But if you get an admission, I believe that you'll stand better chances of getting a study permit in those territories. Okay, last but not least, my parting shot. Remember, at this moment, while we're here, the courses that have preference or priority of processing, they are masters and PhDs. So if you want to come right now, there's no restriction, you don't need a provincial attestation, please take up a master's or a PhD in anything. Of course, you have to be eligible for those programs. Okay, so I know that is now the limiting factor, the fact that you must be eligible for a master's program, but masters and PhDs, top priority. Everything else, if you want to do the undergraduate programs, of course, remember that you're going to need a provincial attestation. Okay, my friends? So thank you so much for being with me. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, like, and share. And I hope to see you in my next video.